Hi, this is Ken from ASPVideocast.com. This simple sample example shows you the cleanest way, or at least the cleanest way I know, to nest grid views in ASP.NET 2.0. We'll start with a blank project. We have our default page, and we'll drag a grid view to the page. This is going to be our outside grid view, so I'll change the name to grid view outside. And using the wizard, I'll create and bind to a data source. I'll tag that with outside as well. I'll create a new connection. Type in my password. I already have a database created, and that tests out okay. And my outside grid view is going to display my orders. I'll select the order ID and customer name. And at this point, if I run the project, I should see the outside grid view displaying the order ID and the customer name. Okay, as we can see, that worked. Now back into our project, we'll create a template column. And this template column is going to hold our inner or our inside or nested grid view. And it's going to display our order items. So I'll edit a template. I'll grab another grid view and drag it into that template column. This one I'm going to call grid view inside. Again, I'll use the wizard to create and bind to a data source. This time I want my order items. And really all I need to show is my item name. But I want to put a clause in here, a SQL statement, where my order ID equals so I simply added a SQL variable to that query. And I'll end my editing here of the template. Now here's where the fun begins. We have to go to the code behind. So you can see from the code behind, I've already pasted in some code here to save time. This is an event for our outside grid view called the row data bound event. And what that does is it passes us in a variable called E the row information. So what we're going to do is inside this subroutine, we're going to define my SDS, which is a SQL data source, and we're going to make it equal the SQL data source for the inside for that particular row when it's being bound. Then what it's going to do is set the parameter. Remember, we created that SQL variable, the first parameter being 0, and we're going to set the default value. So this parameter is the order ID. We're going to set that value to the outside grid view's data bound item called order ID being the name of the database field. If we go back to the front side of our page and we run this, we should now see a grid view. This is what we had before, the order ID displayed, the customer name displayed, but now for each particular row we can show the items ordered from that order. So as we can see, Bob Smith ordered a hard drive, video card, and memory stick. Jim Bob ordered a monitor and printer, and so on and so forth. So this concludes this simple sample example. The source code, as always, can be found at ASPVideocast.com. Please be sure to check back, as new examples will be posted. And you can use the feedback form to request a simple sample example. Until next time, this is Ken at aspvideocast.com checking out.